San Francisco Chronicle, a long and storied career, if you don't mind my saying.
I don't. In fact, you can talk about that endlessly. No, and I'm a proud former Davis High Blue Devil field hockey PA announcer.
Oh,
among other things.
Davis High basketball and football.
I went to every Davis High basketball game almost for 4 years, and a lot of soccer, field hockey, and lacrosse games too, and just, trying not to get kicked out of various venues. Usually was able to avoid that.
All right, give me your Super Bowl take.
Did you play Davis High basketball?
No, I called it on Davis Community Television.
Was that Coach G?
TV. I was Coach G. Yeah.
An institution, and a lot of people thought he should be institutionalized, not because he's not a good guy, but because he was running something called the system, which was 5, wholesale subs, jack up threes, try to outscore.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you.
That's the Vance Wahlberg.
I got to tell you, I really, nothing bad to say about Dan as a person, but not a huge fan of the system.
We're not on Davis Community Television.
Damn.
Right now. You realize that.
Damn it.
I was going to talk to you about the Super Bowl.
Well, I was talking about much bigger athletic pursuits, but I got to tell you.
All right. How do the Niners feel about their field right now? What's the
not good. So this is basically the Niners' issue is their field's a little soft, and there's something called a GMAC score, and it doesn't just feel soft. It measures soft. That's a little more of an injury risk. The Chiefs are practicing as per allotment at the Raiders' nice new facility there at UNLV, the 49ers, and they don't love the field, but they felt like the league leaked that story in the moments leading up to Roger Goodell's press conference to kind of make them look like they're whining and just be like, suck it up. And they're more like, hey, could you just work with us? I think there's a chance on Thursday they will practice at the Raiders facility and just change their schedule because that's their most vigorous practice of the week, or they'll just take their chances. But, they were kind of being portrayed as soft while you had a commissioner who downscaled his press conference, held it in a locker room, made it invitation only, and changed the format so questions could kind of be planted. So who's really soft? Is it the field? Yes. Is it the Niners? Arguably. Is it Roger Goodell? Absolutely.
All right, well, give me your Purdy, Mahomes. You were I know you're not soft because you took a lot of heat early in camp when you wrote that Trey Lance could be out.
Yeah.
That Brandon Allen could be the number 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
I remember somebody telling me, I think Mike's right. I'm surprised he wrote it this early.
Yeah.
So why were you so confident that there was was the settlement?
I mean, I've been early on a lot of things, Trey, including the arm fatigue and all that. And look, nothing against Trey, great kid, but they invested a lot in him. He did have some injuries, but the accuracy wasn't there, and they had this model of let's do it with a rookie deal and surround him with all these high-paid guys in this window. And the model was we're going to trade for the 3rd overall pick ultimately, and Kyle's going to pivot on who he did that for in his mind and then take Trey Lance. And it didn't work, and usually that's calamitous and people get fired and it sets the franchise back years. But it being the Niners, they just went and got a guy at $262 the next year who's even cheaper under the rookie wage scale. Gives you another year because they're not even allowed to renegotiate with Purdy till after next season, and is really, really, really good. So, one reason I felt so comfortable reporting that early about Lance is that on the first day of training camp, I had a private conversation with Kyle Shanahan, interviewed him, and the first minute he compared Sam Darnold to Steve Young. Okay, well, I covered Steve Young. That's a strong comparison in terms of career resurrection, but still. And then he talked about keeping 4 quarterbacks and how his dad had done it once with Pat White in D.C. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a dummy. Yeah, he loves Brandon Allen and he loves Sam Darnold, and we just haven't seen it from Trey. So it worked out amazingly for the 49ers. Kyle has his guy. The only question about Purdy heading into this season was how he'd recover from the, very serious elbow injury he has. That's done. That's all good. But Patrick Mahomes is a completely different realm that we are discussing. He's had 6 seasons as a starter, and he's twice lost the AFC Championship game in overtime, once lost the Super Bowl when he had no offensive line, and other than that, just wins every single big game always. And I just... I'm trying to think of a scenario where I would think the 49ers have a better chance to win than not. And I'm like, they haven't played well. Even if they play their A-plus game, it's still Patrick Mahomes. And if it's anywhere attainable,
their A-plus game has been we haven't seen it in a while. But
since Philly second,
like
third, and fourth quarter. Sure, but even if you are the best team in the league and you play that, which you're right, they haven't done since December 3rd, Patrick Mahomes still has a way of winning games. So, and the Chiefs' defense is really good. So, listen. Patrick Mahomes is 28, and he's on the verge of being a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, presumably, 2-time regular season MVP, and I don't see that abating anytime soon. So, we're watching something space age. Doesn't mean he can't be beaten. Doesn't mean he won't be beaten. But let's also realize we're dealing with a different realm of player.
Cam Newton is back here. He's got a T-shirt on that says Game Changer or Game Manager. Which one are you?
I'm a game changer, but I'm also paradoxically a good teammate in that I want to do my thing and change the game, but I also recognize that I am part of a team. Right now, my team is the San Francisco Chronicle. It's been unbelievable. Ann Kelly and I were on the beat together in the early 90s. Always dreamed, what if we could work together someday? She's one of the great sports columnists in America. Scott Osweiler, who I grew up reading in the LA Times, just a living legend. Eric Branch, one of the, most dogged and prolific beat writers ever on this beat or any beat, and so many other great teammates. So for me, I want to change the game. I want to come hard. I want to do my thing. But I also recognize that, if you're out there on your own, it doesn't feel as good.
Which one's Brock?
Brock's a game changer, but I understand what Cam is saying. And, Brock is young. He is elite in a very appreciable way. He sees it. He studies it. He diagnoses it very early in the play. He has the guts to put it where he wants it, and he gets it there with incredible accuracy, and that is a superpower. A difference between Brock Purdy and, say, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Cam Newton in his prime, there's the plan B on Brock is harder to find. And in that Green Bay game where he wasn't seeing it, what's the plan B? He can move, but but when Mahomes, Josh, Lamar, Cam, when those guys need a plan B, it's very glaring what it is. Insane athleticism to go with all of the other things. And, that is harder to cope with for an opposing team when you could be perfect, you could have it all mapped out, and Cam Newton just ran through 4 of your dudes who really didn't want to try to tackle him, and now it's first and goal.
All right, so Mike Silver's picking the Chiefs.
I am.
Yeah. Close or
I think
Mahomes come back or lead the whole way?
I think close. There are scenarios where I could see the 49ers winning. Kyle Shanahan could scheme it up. They could summon that A-plus game. And the Chiefs are, they're not indomitable. But I do think close, and when it's close, and I love Purdy, but if it's close, I've just seen Patrick Mahomes over and over and over again, whether it's 17-10 or 50, I guess he lost the 54-51, but that was regular season.
Yeah.
But, whatever the score is, if he's got the ball at the end, I'm kind of feel like he might win. So, yeah, I would pick the Chiefs, but I think it's going to be a good game, and I definitely see a scenario where the 49ers could win.
All right, you got to go.
I do have to go, and I wish we could do a second segment, but only on Blue Devil basketball over the years. But I don't think the ratings.
What's the high water mark on that? What's
Blue
the best
Devil
team
basketball.
Bulldog basketball's ever had. I didn't see it, or maybe I did.
Yeah, they got in the playoffs.
Davis, California.
They might have won a playoff game or gotten in the playoffs a few years ago.
I remember they played. Who was the guy from Grant High School who started opening night for the Warriors one year? DeMarcus Nelson went to Duke. Davis and I played him tight one time in 2003. So that's That's my.
They had to play
That's my most memorable moment.
against. Is it Marvin Bagley's brother at Sheldon? Yeah, they had to play him. They had to play the kid who went to Washington, Marquise Chris.
Marquise Chris.
Yeah, I saw. My son was still on the freshman team, I think, but I saw the Blue Devils try to play him. He didn't look super interested, but when he decided to try, the Blue Devils' scrappy defense was not locking him down.
One day, Silver's going to retire from everything and just do a local Davis. You can be at the farmers market.
Yeah, it'll probably be realistically it'll be Cal Olympic Sports for the total nerds, and we'll just be talking about Cal softball and every other non-marquee Cal sport. And I'm going to co-host it with Adam Duritz, another person with Davis ties.
He has Davis ties?
He went to UCD for 2 years before transferring.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And so I will co-host it with Adam, the Counting Crows frontman, because as far as I know, he's the only person as nerdy as I am when it comes to those Cal concerns.
All right, we did get some good stuff here, Mike, so thank you.
I hope so, because there's a thing called editing, and I
don't plan on doing it.
I would urge you to use that.